Hello, this is Kent Philpott again, program number 5 in our series on Santeria, from slavery to slavery. We're going to take a look at how the religion of Santeria functions, the rituals and the ceremonies of the religion. Now, first of all, we're going to talk about the Santeros and the Santeras and their church or congregation or house. It's spelled I-L-E, Ile. I'm not exactly sure I'm pronouncing that right. If I have not, forgive me. But now, more and more women, probably now numbering more than men, are acting as the priests of Santeria. These are the ones who conduct the asiento, or the initiation. Asiento means to seat, or the seating into the religion. All those who are initiated become a member of that Santeros or Santera's house or ile. Sometimes the Santero will be known as a padrino, and the Santera as a madrino. And the agun, those spirits of the dead, people who have died, they are considered yet a part of the household. So the job of the priests and priestesses are to live for the orishas. They live for the orishas and to help those who come to seek the aid of the orishas. Some long-standing members of Santeria complain about how ill-equipped or uneducated many Santeros or Santeras are. In past times, the time spent in learning the mysteries was long and complex. Now, some are initiated after only a few months. People in need of help come to the Santero priests and priestesses to seek a solution to a problem, maybe involving health, money, love. Those are the top 3 categories. The price or fee for this is called a derecho, meaning right in Spanish, supposedly limited to the price of procuring the items essentially for whatever sacrifice, like let's say for a chicken or some other animal or herbs and so on. That might be required by the orisha. And by the way, it's the orisha that the Santero or Santera consults through divination, fortune telling, so that the orisha tells them what the sacrifice is supposed to be, and so that the ashi of the orisha can be secured to resolve whatever problem. However, apparently prices are going up, and there is fear that the priests and priestesses are taking advantage of their very powerful life in the presence of the life of their ile. Now, there's no actual hierarchy in Santeria, no actual organization beyond the ile. The leader is the Santero, though the head of all Santeria is known as the Ooni, who is the spiritual head of the Yoruba of Nigeria, and head of all who worship the orishas in the Americas. The Ooni, that's O-O-N-I, is said to be a direct descendant of the original persons who founded the Yoruba nation. Now, how does one enter Santeria? How do you get into it? Now, there are 4 roles or steps available for a person entering Santeria. Each step requires a separate ritual to be conducted and results in increasing degrees of protection, power, and knowledge. By the way, I wrote a book, a master's thesis back in the early 70s called A Manual of Demonology and the Occult, and I learned the principal factors of the occult have to do with power and knowledge, but principally power. Now, full entrance requires, in other words, to be that, get to be a Santero or Santera requires all 4 levels, but a person can stop at any time. So the steps or rules are: first, receiving the necklaces or the ilekes. The necklaces will have different colors. We'll get to that in a minute. Receiving the elegua, and there again I'm probably mispronouncing. Then third, receiving the warriors, or in Spanish the guerreros. And 4, making saint or asiento. That is the initiation process. First of all, the ilekes. Elekis are beaded necklaces and are made up of different colors and patterns that correspond to the preferences of the Orisha, of the Santero or Santera who conducts the initiation. Now, a Santero or Santera on their initiation or asiento will be mounted or possessed by an Orisha. And it's unknown which that is going to be. In the old days, it used to be that Babaloa would determine who would be the Orisha, would find out which was going to be the Orisha. And there might be more than one. So the Santero or Santera will have a dominant Orisha, and that Orisha will have specific colors. It might be white and gold, might be any different colors, yellow, so on. But also the Orisha will have particular offerings, plants, herbs, animals that they favor as foods to be fed with. And so it's all different, and there's complex charts that detail all of that sort of thing. So the Elekis are the beginning of this. And usually the Babaloa will be used to determine how that is going to work, what Orisha it is. The initiate is called Iyawo, and is usually given 4 to 6 necklaces, and these are removed in certain circumstances like bathing, sexual activity, sleeping, women's menstruation, so on. The breaking of a necklace, that's bad news, a serious problem, and will result in more sacrifices having to be made. The necklaces are given by a madrina, a santera who officiates or orchestrates the initiation. A duratio or fee is required for this ritual, and it can be substantial. The main purpose then of the Elekis is for protection against all manner of evil, from curses to illnesses. The ashes of the Orishas that will be mounting or belong to the Santero would be El Ulga, Obatala, Oshun, Yemaya, Shango, Oya, and those are the primary Orishas that are used for that. Now, receiving or making Eligwa. That is a warrior Orisha and is responsible for determining the destinies of people. Now, Santeria is kind of fatalistic. Your destiny has been fulfilled. It's all figured out. But what happens, you can get out of balance, and that is the work of the Santero Santera, is to bring a person back into balance. That's why I say it does not have an ethic, a moral code so much as the thing about being in balance. So the Babaloa is consulted, and by using a divining tool like, for example, the seashells, the initiates past, present, and future are revealed. From such divining, the Babaloa prescribes both the building materials and the methods for how an image of the head of the Orisha Eligua is to be constructed. And it's usually a rock, cowrie shells for eyes, nose, mouth, ears, and it is kept in the member of Santeria house someplace with various implements in it. I have pictures of them, but they're too small to show here on this video. The image made of stone is then placed somewhere in the house of the Iwao. That means bride, by the way. Interesting, bride. That will come up later. As close to the front door of the dwelling as possible in order to protect the house and those living in it from evil forces. If, for example, a particular person is causing trouble, that person's name would be written down on a slip of paper and placed under that image, that rock. This assures that the Orisha Eligua will suppress that person from causing evil effects. The stone image of Eligua must be then fed periodically to assure that there is enough ashi present. Now, be fed with any number of things, including animal sacrifices. The feeding requires blood from the sacrificed animal be sprinkled on the image. In addition to blood, the image can be fed with the Orisha's favorite offerings like rum, which is taken in the mouth and spewed onto the image, or cigar smoke blown on it, coconut, toasted corn, smoked fish, opossum meat, and candy. Well, that's enough for that. That is the end of number 5.